This will be a short video showing you how to navigate the K-3 Math Universal Screening and Progress Monitoring Suite, Livebinder. You may know these tools as the ENSI and ENSI comp measures. When you log into the Livebinder, you'll need an access key. So most of you watching this video have received the access key because you've been through training. When you enter your access key, you'll see this beginning screen. The first thing you'll see is just a reminder of our responsible use agreement, so that this Livebinder, if you're logging into it, it's because you've received some training and are wanting to use the ENSI and ENSI computation measures. Just remember that only districts and schools that have attended an introductory training and have agreed to the responsible use should be in this Livebinder. You'll also see a table of contents and tabs across the top. So the blue tabs across the top, the beginning blue tabs, are basically lots of resources that you can use when you are sharing these measures and use with other folks. The first tab is a tab around what is number sense. So this is a short video, about 10 minutes, of Dr. Matt Hoskins talking about number sense, those three worlds or three codes of mathematics: quantity, magnitude, language, and symbol. So many of you saw that during training. If you prefer to use this video to show others, you're welcome to it. The second tab is just another introduction to the ENSI and math computation measures, short documents on what the measures are, how we arrived at them, where they came from, some general testing considerations, so how to set up the classroom and just the general rules that apply to all the assessments. And then two presentations that you may want to use. So the adoption and measure presentation. So this is sort of the introduction of how did we in North Carolina arrive at these measures, adopting these measures. There's a PowerPoint here that has about 22 slides, I think, and a full set of trainer notes. Or if you're less comfortable with that talk, you can watch a voiced over version of the presentation here on YouTube, and that one is about 20 minutes. The second presentation that you have is around the background and research, the math kind of background and research for these measures. So again, you have a PowerPoint that has trainer notes that talks through all the slides, or a voiced over presentation. This one is about 50 minutes long. The next tab you'll see is responsible and recommended use. So if you're in this Livebinder, your LEA has likely signed this use agreement. If you just want to take a look to remind yourself of what we at DPI agree to and what the LEA agrees to with use. Another resource tab is the recommended measures. So there's a tab for both screening and progress monitoring. The screening tab will show you the recommended measures by grade level, and also the score type that we recommend using by time of year. The other thing that you'll see in here are, this is where we have the recommended windows for screening. So we've set those based on the school days so that they apply also to year-round schools. So basically districts selecting a 2-week window in the fall from the 10th through 30th day of school, in the winter from the 70th to 90th day of school, and the spring from the 130th to 150th day of school. The winter and spring windows are pretty far outside the M-class windows to give you a little ease there, but the fall window does overlap. The progress monitoring tab will give you recommendations for a sequence and goals for progress monitoring. These are likely to change as we get more information with our norming project during the 17-18 school year. But right now, these are the best goals and sequence that we have based on our validation study. There's also a short document on instructional implications. Basically, this document takes each of the measures and gives you related concepts and skills. So the important concepts and skills that we'd want to be teaching as core instruction first when we think about utilizing these measures. There's also a recommended training plan for assessors. So this training plan basically, first of all, sets you up on how to use the Livebinder if you wanted to train small groups of assessors, and then also how you can use the Livebinder or how you can use additional training resources if you wanted to train folks who are going to assess multiple grade levels or large groups of assessors. So some steps there. The other tab here before we get into the grade level tabs is just kind of how do you put together these notebooks. So you've seen a notebook in training. Basically here for a screening notebook, this will give you the direct links to everything that you need for each grade level notebook. So you can see the kindergarten scoring sheets, directions, measures, and then also if you want to do a notebook that spans all the grade levels. The same thing here is available for progress monitoring. So if you want a kindergarten progress monitoring notebook, first grade, second grade, here are all the things that you would print and include in that. I will take this moment just to again reiterate, when you're progress monitoring, right now we recommend that you be in the same grade level as the student is for progress monitoring. We don't recommend that you drop back a grade level until we have further data. So if I'm a first grade student right now and you want to use progress monitoring, you would use the first grade level materials. So for each measure tab, we'll take a look at just kind of view kindergarten, but we'll dig into first grade. We have the same sort of setup for each grade level. So if you're using the Livebinder for training or you just want to use it to just kind of review your own information, the first thing you see is there's a grade level, just general overview of the measures. You'll recognize these slides from training, just sort of the testing considerations, those things that you recognize for all the measures, the score types, the materials, and then recommendations around the scores. And then the next tab will be the examiner directions. So you can download examiner directions here or from that material assembly tab. And then for each measure, there'll be an overview, which is just a few quick slides around what the measure is, what the materials look like, the connections in our early numeracy, the directions, and what the scoring sheet looks like. The next tab for each measure will be the demonstration video. So you'll have the video here with the companion scoring. And then the third tab for each measure will be the practice. So there's a screenshot of the practice script and then a few directions on how to use that practice script so folks can actually practice straight from this screen if you want to. So you can see in first grade we have those three tabs, that overview, video, and practice for each measure: part, whole, matching quantity to number, verbal addition and subtraction, number recognition. Following the individual measures, you'll see that we have the student materials, so the first grade screening materials that you can download here. So there are 36 pages for first grade notebook. The screening score sheets. So for the ENSI, the score sheets for screening. And then the next two tabs will be the ENSI progress monitoring materials. So the progress monitoring materials goes through the sequence. They're in order that the sequence we recommend for monitoring, and each 5 forms are there. So number recognition forms 1 through 5, and then after that, the next measure you would see is matching quantity to number, forms 1 through 5. The progress monitoring score sheets are here, and those are basically also by measure. So here's number recognition, forms 1 through 5, matching quantity to number, forms 1 through 5, and so on. For grades 1 through 3, you'll also have then the first grade computation. Those are the directions. And then the final tab would be the scoring directions. Remember, these are scored for digits correct in the answer. And then you'll see the first grade computation materials, which will be all 30 forms of the computation. So you will have 30 pages there. And then at the very end of that file, what you'll see are the answer keys. Let's see if we can get all the way down there to those answer keys. So there's the answer keys for each of those. So that the grade level tabs would be the same for each. A few other blue tabs that you might be interested in. So the normative data tab, this is new as of the fourth week of October. We have our local norming Excel file that you may have used. Now this file is updated for the fall statewide norms, which is up here. The state norms for the fall, so those have just been updated the fourth week of October. So if you've already got your local norms, you can just use this state norm sheet to make some comparisons. And then what we've done here is a brief video on how to interpret that data. Under your additional resources, what we've done here is we've given you those same two PowerPoints that would be the overview, and then we've given you a PowerPoint with recommendations for if you want to train sort of measure by a grade level. So this would be just sort of a stand and deliver PowerPoint that you could use for kindergarten. We've also added in here, I forgot about these, some computation scoring practice if folks need to practice scoring for digits correct. I know we're getting tired, but don't forget to take a look at the implementation planning tab. There's a very nice template here that will help you as a district decide if these are the right measures for you. That'll go through some of the content of the hexagon tool for need fit resources, and then also how to maybe select schools for that might be appropriate, and then communication, as well as preparing for training and then planning for the actual screening. So this is a great resource. This planning tool for a team approach can be found here, which is our next tab over. And basically this planning tool will help you decide how many assessors you would need by grade level to keep your time down, or it'll tell you basically how much time to plan based on the assessors that you have. Finally, there is a questions tab here. So if you have any questions or comments, we do accept positive feedback on this questions tab, but anything that you have about the universal screening and progress monitoring materials, if you would fill out this quick Google form, we'll get back to you within a few days with an answer. All right, I hope that you have enjoyed this brief overview of the resources available for the ENSI and computation measures. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in this question box right here.